China tension and job loss fears. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at an article from news.com. Our Premier here in Queensland, Anastasia Palaszczuk, is calling on the Morrison government to resolve China trade tensions. Now this is very important, not just for Queensland, but for the entire country, for a few reasons. Because, well, we're just a little bit dependent on our trade relationship with China. This is from the Observatory of Economic Complexity, and many viewers of the channel, regular viewers, will know I love this website. The one thing I constantly rattle on about is how low our complexity is with regards to our economy, the products that we manufacture and send overseas. The Kiwis are more advanced than we are here in Australia, guys. So we need to invite them. We need them in the Federation. They need to join. So if we scroll down here, we can see 35.5% of our exports are going to China. If I click on that, it should load up what the major ones are. Iron ore, coal, petroleum, even gold is right up there as well. And if you add on to this as the other parts of our economy that are important, like international tourism, a significant number are coming from China, and student education, a significant number are also coming from China. And then the other aspect is foreign investment. Now, in our housing sector, a large proportion of that is also fueled by Chinese investors. And you'll have commenters say, oh, no, the biggest foreign investment comes from America or from England or from these other countries. That's true on a complete numerical basis. But you need to think about that. You need to divide it by the number of investments. So if you have like 50 huge American investments, like a Bechtel buying a big project or something, compared to thousands of smaller investments coming from China, where do you think those investments are going? And what do you think is going to have an impact on, our day-to-day savings and retail expenditure? Property. And you can't blame people wanting to invest in Australia. It's a relatively safe country, politically okay, it's a little frustrating, but compared to other parts of the world, we got it pretty good. So, where else to stash your money if other people are going to take it away? I think one of the universal things that we can all come together with in the world is frustration that the government is taking our money away. But another thing I want to show you before we jump through this article is look at the iron ore, look at the coal. This is a map of Australia, and here's New Zealand, guys. For those of you overseas, it's like, they had the option to join the Federation, but they didn't. So if we look here at operating mines in Australia, what we'll do is we'll turn all of them off. We'll just look at iron ore. There you go. Western Australia exports a significant amount of iron ore. Look at all of that. I'll turn it on and off again. Look at that. And our coal, well, it's at the other side of the country. So we've got kind of like the iron ore side and the coal side of the country here, you can see here. And Victoria is mainly used in state. New South Wales and Queensland is exported overseas. And another image that I think shows it quite well is this here. This chart, website here. This is showing live, or as live as we can get online these days, just all the current shipping. And you've got the green ones there, the bulk cargo, they're cargo vessels, they're bulk haul, so dry cargo. The orange are fishing. You can see these streams of ships coming to and from Australia. Look here, all these here from the ports on northwestern Australia. There you go. We looked at a modular hotel for Port Hedland, didn't come off. So let's jump through and look at this article because, well, the Queensland Premier has a right to be concerned because our economy is so heavily linked to China. And in Queensland, it's going to hit our tourism industry, it's going to hit our education industry, it's going to flow through to property, although probably not as much as Sydney and Melbourne. It's going to impact demand for coal, although a lot of it is going to India as well, as much as the Greenies don't want it to. They like people in countries they don't see having increased health issues through burning dung, but they're the good guys apparently. They just don't have a big picture, I think, beyond their backyard. So, Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk has called on the Morrison government to resolve trade tensions with China on the same day Beijing slapped crippling tariffs on Australia's wine industry. Oh, yes, yeah, I mean, they're introducing tariffs. Now, the question is this to pull Australia into line, or is this because there's actually not the stellar economic performance occurring in China that we're led to believe? That's the question I put to you. Either or, we're kind of screwed anyway, because our economy is so linked to theirs. One lesson I learned, one thing I learned recently, which really shocked me, is that people will use the Aussie dollar as a proxy for the Chinese economy. That's what forex traders use. It's a proxy. Some consider it a proxy. Isn't that insane? What does that tell you? That should make us all worried. I shouldn't be laughing at that, but you know, what else can you do? So, the sector is bracing for significant losses after China's Commerce Minister accused Australian producers of flooding the market with cheap wine to manipulate prices. Well, here's the question I put to you. Could that be correct? How many vineyards are in Australia? Do you all remember when you could get clear skins? Can you still get them anymore? When I was at uni, you could get like bottles of wine, just clear labels, dirt cheap, like $1 or $2 a bottle. And we'd go and buy a whole, carton of them. Literally, you buy wine by the carton. And I remember sitting there working on uni assignments, and I'd crack open a cheap red, have a little glass, you'd be, chilling with the music going, doing some design in, crack open another. And all of a sudden I realized, oh, wait a minute, I'm drunk. I finished a bottle by myself just working on uni. And it's probably not a good thing health-wise, but I mean, when you're younger, you can handle it a lot better. But it was so cheap. Can you still get it? And it was good quality. It wasn't like the cask, the goon bag stuff. It was nice. So, Ms. Palaszczuk said the Sunshine State's exports were critical for its economy and urged the federal government to iron out tensions with Australia's largest trading partner before its resources industry copped similar sanctions. I think she's like 5 steps behind everything. We can't be surprised. She only got in the job because everyone hated Newman, and they still referred to Newman now again when she got it again. And we'll have to see. We don't have many options here in Queensland, guys. It's a bit frustrating. What we need is an upper house to rein them in a bit. Queensland's trade relationship with China is strong and enduring, based on a long history of mutual respect, just as we have with our major trading partners, she said. What about your minor ones? In an address to the Queensland Resources Council on Friday. We're reliable and highly trusted suppliers of quality exports, and Chinese buyers want to buy what we produce. Like many in this room, I hope that these issues can be resolved as quickly as possible, because open trade means more jobs here and abroad. Trade equals jobs. Well, yeah, she's right. It does. Ms. Palaszczuk's comments come after reports from The Australian that more than 80 ships carrying more than $1 billion of coal were stuck off the coast of China. We will continue to raise issues with the federal government when we need to, such as what's happening at the moment with coal ships off China, she said. The last thing I want to see are mines shutting down in Queensland at the expense of Queensland jobs. Well, we'll have to see. So, tariffs of up to 200... Something funny happened here. Tariffs of up to 212% will be placed on wine exports to China from Saturday. A dramatic escalation in tensions, Trade Minister Simon Birmingham said slams a guillotine on the $1.2 billion industry. There are significant implications on Australian wine, the senator told reporters on Friday. They will have the effect of rendering largely unmarketable product to the Chinese wine industry or the Chinese wine market for Australian producers. It's of great concern that China has taken action, and it's an action that comes on the accumulation of other actions that the course of this year in particular. The idea that Australia somehow subsidizes our wine industry for it to be able to dump or sell its product below cost on international markets is a falsehood. Well, isn't that what you do? Don't you blame others for what you do yourself? How many Chinese businesses get government subsidized land or loans or all the. I mean, they're not playing by the WTA rules, but no one, that's just the way it is. Everyone wants their cheap crap. So, subsidizes our wine industry for it to be able to dump or sell its product below cost in international markets is a falsehood. It is wrong, and the findings of this preliminary investigation are erroneous in fact and in substance. Well, if anything, some of the taxes we put on alcohol producers and other industries are just crazy. We're harming it. Australia is harming our industries, our government. It gets in the way of business. Both sides. Labor and Liberal, they both get in the way. Just the amount of how you want to get in the way. Do you want your taxes with a dose of illogical social justice or not? There you go. Do you want to believe in some fake touchy-feely garbage like wage gaps and then implement quotas? Well, then you vote for Labor. If you want slightly less of that, you want all the taxes and the rigmarole and the red tape without so much social justice, maybe only 50%, then you vote for Liberal. That's the choices we have in Australia here, guys. It's frustrating. It really is. That we need to shift the Overton window, and there needs to be a dialogue more on individual responsibility and freedom, really. It comes back to responsibility. Just looking at those poor people who were all complaining to the ABC about not being able to pay their mobile bills. I mean, seriously, would you do? Did the ABC at least pay them? You would think the ABC would pay these poor people the $3,000 to pay off their bloody bill because they're there, creating articles and views for them. That would be interesting. And then they'd probably go and, waste the money on something stupid. But still, because it's never your fault. It's always someone else's. And I'm going off topic again. Preliminary findings from the Chinese investigation into the Aussie industry showed there was a causal relationship between dumping and material damage. There is dumping of imported wines originating in Australia, and the relevant domestic wine industry in China has become substantive. Well, how's the Australian iron ore industry going here? How many... there you go. Come on. I mean, this is an issue. This is an issue. One of the things, like, these schemes in America where you buy a pair of shoes and donate a pair to, like, some impoverished country, and that destroys the industries in those countries. One thing in UK, I read about this at university. Like, there's a demand for chicken breasts. People eat more chicken breasts than other parts of the chicken. So the chicken breasts all get manufactured and we eat them. But all the other bits of chicken get dumped on other markets. So they get sent over to Africa or other places. And that decimates local farmers because they can't compete with the product that's imported from overseas. I mean, that's just the way it is. You have to adapt. So China has to step up and realize, well, maybe their wine producers aren't as good or aren't as efficient as Australians. Maybe they can't compete. Maybe a taste of their own bloody medicine for once. Wouldn't that be good? You can't have it both ways, guys. This is the problem when you're dealing with authoritarians. They don't play by the rules. And this is the concern, that we've become so dependent on one source, one destination for our exports. Look at the rock lobster industry over in WA. So, speaking to the state's Resource Council, Ms. Palaszczuk again confirmed her commitment to supporting the coal sector, which relies on the China market, while also revealing a new renewable energy project to diversify the state exports channels. The Premier revealed a partnership with Japan's largest hydrogen company, Iwatani, through a new export facility in Gladstone. Demand for renewable hydrogen out of Japan is growing rapidly, she said. If we can position Queensland as the key exporter of this resource, Queensland will be at the forefront of the renewable energy revolution. When I was looking at getting a smart car, there was proposals that you could get a dual hydrogen-powered one. That's what I was interested in. I don't. Hydrogen is if you can. The problem with hydrogen, there's usually more. My understanding is there's more energy involved in the production of it than you can get back. It's an energy-intensive process. But if you can do it through electrolysis really slowly and over time, and you can generate it, what's the payback? And it's the storage, I guess. Would you want a hydrogen-powered car where you're only producing water? That's the byproduct. So I like that idea a lot better. This seems a lot smarter than just sending, undersea cables all over the world to send solar power, actually storing it as a gas. So, To do that, we must partner with Japanese energy suppliers. When it comes to hydrogen, they don't come any larger than Iwatani. Ms. Palaszczuk insists hydrogen is the future. We're investigating in this sector because we know the great potential this industry has to drive Queensland's economic recovery in years to come, the Premier said. For the first time in history, I will approve a Minister for Renewables and Hydrogen. This is a testament to the importance of this industry in rebuilding our economy. Springwood MP Mick de Brenny will take responsibility for this portfolio. You know what would be good? It would be really good if you were using nuclear power to generate the hydrogen. Yeah, wonder if that could work, and then ship it all around the world and use that to power your vehicles. We'll have to see. What do you think, everyone? What do you think? Where do you think our relationship with China will sit and the impact that will have on jobs? Because she's worried. She's worried about jobs. That's why she's talking about it. And it's going to have an impact on our unemployment rate, particularly here in Queensland. We're not doing very well. We're one of the worst at the moment with regards to unemployment. And if all the coal mines start copping it, we'll jump over here, you know. If the fly in, fly out boys and girls that go out here start hitting it, that's going to manifest for us here in the southeast as well. So it's not just limited to all parts of the country. We all know people who fly from here all around the state. That's just how it is. We'll have to see, everyone. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy a merch from HeiseSays or Teespring, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, have a great day, and I will see you all next time.